Traitor, it was your command that doomed us to this fate. You were supposed to let us go. A traitor shielding another traitor. What difference does it make who gave the order? And what kind of king is he, who knows not what his servants do? I can feel that traitor stench upon you. And by the almighty Lord of the Seas, I swear, this day you both shall die. No one is permitted to enter Lady Nimwa's chambers. I swore to guard her, and I shall keep that oath. Know this, I command the full might of Saras.
I've been wondering when you'd find your way here. Your presence has rippled through all of Saras. Wave after wave after wave. It reminds me of something. Someone. From a long time ago. My troubled youth, you mean? And what? Are you wondering if I regret it now? If I feel I'm paying for my stubbornness, my arrogance, getting drunk on my own power? I'm afraid the truth is less dramatic. I was tired. I'd lost hope. And I wanted no part in Merlin and Arthur's vile practices. They stole our future before our lives even had a chance to begin. At least his betrayal gave me time to rest and to build something of my own. Something better than what we left on the surface. History does love its circles, I see. Far be it from me to begrudge anyone wanting to leave these miserable shores, but you do know the fleet is bound to me, don't you? You're asking for my life, and for Saras to fall. You don't pull your punches, do you? What I want doesn't really matter here. Saras is bigger than me. But if you truly wish to know, I do not desire death. I'm at peace here already. Yet, I wouldn't mind it either. As you said, I've been alive for a long time. If it were only about me, I wouldn't care either way. But it isn't. It was. The circumstances are different now. What happens on the surface matters little to me. I have my own domain to tend to. Perhaps. Yet this is their home. We are intertwined. Do you think Tumbo's thirst for knowledge came merely from proximity to the archive? Or that the creatures of the Ulcerate feel the need to prove themselves only because of their father? I am them, and they are me. They will survive. Most of them. But they will be untethered. No, you don't. No one truly understands the consequences of their actions until they come back to haunt them. And they will, year after year. And I doubt you'll have hundreds of years to lay them to rest. You'll do what you want. I can't stop you. Perhaps your conscience will, if you have one.
You had the cheek to disturb my lady. But you see, she cannot leave this place. No. She must remain in the depths. Worry not, my beloved. No one will trouble us anymore. With you, I shall drown forever. Calls for you. You'll learn what it's like to sink forever. You hear? The deep calls for you. The fleet awaits. The fleet awaits.
Being set free into the vast sea was, at first, not easy for the denizens of Saras. They struggled in a space that lacked the structure and order once kept by Nimue and the first crew. In time, however, they grew used to their newfound freedom and spread far and wide, slowly forgetting the place of their origin.
since she was a little girl. Merlin took her in after she lost her parents. He told me she had immense potential, even at a very young age. She learned quickly, so Merlin always kept her close. Even when she barely reached my knee, I had the feeling she didn't like me. Do you seek absolution from me, or condemnation? I will give you neither, my friend. If Saras taught me one thing, it is that we cannot foresee the full consequences of our choices. When I told Merlin to sink the fleet, I never imagined an entire realm would rise from it. Now it is gone, and the fleet is free once more. But what happens after is out of your hands. What's done is done. The only thing we can do is move forward. I think she blamed me for Merlin's descent into increasingly questionable methods. She idolized him and, like any daughter, wanted him to be without fault. It was easier to blame my influence than face the fact that Merlin had never been who she believed him to be. What else could I have done? She ignited a rebellion against her king, and in a time of war. Treason remains treason. The sentence would have been the same. I decided against a public execution, not only to keep her from becoming a martyr, but because I would not force my friend to watch me set a blade to the neck of the girl he called his daughter. Yes, sailing for the homelands was madness. On that I will not waver. Yet the urge was born from her hatred of Avalon, what it took from her and what it was becoming. She judged that the foundations we were laying were rotten. And after all I have seen, I must admit she may not have been entirely wrong.
Oh, love, plenty. And almost none of them happy. I'll never forget the first time we stumbled upon a place after a cloud of the weirdness oozed through. It was a small settlement, just a few houses. There was this odd, bitter taste in the air. The place was completely abandoned. Or so we thought, until we started finding them, one by one. A man who tried to chop off his legs after they started sprouting antlers. Another one who gouged his eyes out so he wouldn't have to look at his child melting into the floor. A woman in the farthest corner of the settlement managed to stab herself in the heart before it got to her. I almost dropped it all and ran back to Timberwall that day. I'm still not sure why I didn't. I guess giving up just isn't in my nature. If only. I can't get in touch with Brandon, and it seems that he gave the order to keep me here. Precisely here, right in this damned spot. And I'm afraid, if I stay here any longer, some of those geezers might actually drop dead. Don't get me wrong, I quite like this place. The air is crisp, the sea is calming. It's true, the company could be better, but I wouldn't mind living here one day. I used to love it when I was younger. It felt like an adventure. Like I was a brave heroine venturing into the dangerous world. But it gets boring after a decade or two. Eventually, you start feeling like you haven't had time to sit down since the moment you left. The dangers of the road stop becoming exciting. They become real. And before you know it, your entire life has slipped through your fingers. Life goes by so fast when you're always on the move. You keep thinking you have time for everything, until you don't. Only a keeper is allowed to own property in the Horns of the South. I looked it up. It's an actual law, not just something Brandon made up so I'd stop breathing down his neck. So unless I grow a pecker overnight, it'll never happen. Sweet all-mother, is he still whining about that contract? I want it fair and square. My offer was simply better, and Heffen's crap at negotiating. Besides, if you ask me, it's all just posturing. He might have lost the contract for his family, but for him, it was a clear win. Trading with the Keep in an official capacity. It means I don't just run this stand, I also handle orders from the captain and the quartermaster. It's a good deal, I won't lie, but it requires a lot of running around. I don't have time to twiddle my thumbs and make nice with the locals like Heffen does. Look, Heffen may seem dim, but he's a sly bastard. I'm not saying he lost on purpose, because I doubt that. But he didn't have to slink back to Connacht with his tail between his legs. He's got his little stall in the village, and he lords over it like a bloody king. Grouch that he is, he fits right in with the rest of those old codgers. Plus, he got his family off his back. All in all, I'd say he's doing quite well for himself.
I like it when things are... quiet. No need for that, is there? need for violence. What a nice day.
face every threat.
Remain vigilant.
You are nothing but a... You fight like a milkmaid! I'm not...
Stay sharp.